1977 Dodge Ramcharger, factory 440 four-wheel drive. So this is a little narrated tour of the vehicle itself. So we got all the gauges here, volts. Pretty much once it's running, it's pegged up past 16, so it works, but I don't think it's accurate. Vacuum gauge works. Temperature gauge, oil gauge, alternator, fuel, they all work. Speedometer works. Radio.
The manuscript was, he had been a student. And your editors said
AM, FM.
Thanks for joining us today for Focus on the Family.
That all works fine. I have the air on, so ambient temperature was about 85. I'm going to let it run for a while and see what it comes down to. This is still an R12 system, and it's charged up pretty good. Should work fine. Wipers, 2-speed, they work. Brake controller for your trailer. This is an old school brake controller, all hydraulic, electric. It works. I've towed trailers with it. The CB, I believe it works, but I haven't really ever used it. I just kind of leave it in here for reference, just for fun, for people to look at. And there's all these settings. You know, it's not like a modern CB. We got our different channels here. So I can't really, I'm not a CB junkie, so I don't really know very well how to evaluate if this thing does actually work. Check breaker, check 1.9. There's a switch down here, and I'm not sure what that's for. There's some odd switches in this vehicle that over the years that I've owned it, I've never really figured out what they are for or connected to in any way. So get a little bit of volume there on the CB. Maybe we'll go to channel 19 and see if I can hear anything. I don't know if it actually works. I do have the antenna hooked up. This switch here is for an inverter. You know, you can plug in your cell phone charger, 120 volt outlet, or Sawzall out in the woods or something if you want to cut down a tree. It's supposed to work with this throttle, which would actually keep the engine a little bit faster, but the throttle has always been frozen. I did use the inverter one time. I took a Sawzall out in the woods and cut down a tree with it. It works fine, but you have to have the engine at about 2,500 RPM for that to work. I just put a brick on the gas pedal and kind of held it up here, but the throttle itself is frozen, and I never did take this all apart to figure out why. I just left it kind of alone. We've got vent works. Heat, I'm not going to put the temperature up, but the temperature control does work. You can feel the air coming down out there out of the heat, and then the defrost, you feel air coming out there. So all the vacuum motors in that HVAC unit are working. We've got our 3 speeds for a fan. There's high, medium, and low. Let's see. Lights all work. This switch here is for the dome light, so if you actually want to defeat your dome light, like if you were camping and you wanted to have all your doors open, you could just click that off, and then you're not getting bugs inside here. There's lights up in the roof. There we go. All right, so you can just kind of flip those on manually. There's one here right by the roll bar. There's also one back there. There's also lights we can't see during the day. A real dim, sort of, I call them camping lights, up above each fender. And there's a switch up front here in the lower dash, and then there's also a switch back by the tailgate, so you can activate those if you were camping. All right, let's go for a little drive, and then we'll come back and check out some more of the exterior. So all the ranges of the transmission work. It's a 727 trans. So we hold it in one, it's not going to shift. See, the speedometer works there. That's first gear lockout, shifting the second, and then of course D. There's our left turn signal, right turn signal, hazards. It's fairly quiet when we're driving. There are a few little squeaks and squabbles that come from the back. I don't know if that's just a seat or if it's the roof, but for 77 big gigantic truck, it's fairly quiet. Steering box has been rebuilt. I think I did that around 2005 or 2007. As you can see right now, it's got 79,000, soon to possibly be 80,000 miles on there. Okay. I think when I bought this, it had about 68,000. And I've had it since 2003. When we get back to the parking lot, we'll try out the four-wheel drive. The high and low range work, the locks, low lock and high lock work for four-wheel drive. We'll get out and lock out the hubs and try it out. Down here on the cowl kick panel, there's a vent. When you're running your AC, you want that closed so it's not bringing in outside air. So I closed that up. Down the window so you can hear the exhaust a little bit better here. It's got a fairly nice exhaust note. Not sure how well you'll hear it on the video, but we kick it down and get on it. You know, it's just a stock 77 440. I don't really know that there's anything ever done to it other than the Edelbrock intake and the headers, which was all done by the first owner. There are also some other unique features to this vehicle. This was originally ordered and owned by a fire chief in Poland, Ohio, and it's got a fire siren up under the the right front fender, right near the root wheel. I'll show you that. Got a fire siren in there. It's also got siren lights behind the grille. And a lot of this stuff seems like it was probably dealer installed, not factory installed. This truck was originally delivered without a radio, had a radio delete. When I got it, it had some sort of, you know, like Crayco bolt-in radio that wasn't very good. So I changed it out and put a factory one in. It's got 4 speakers. The original owner cut out the bottoms, put your 6x9s in the bottoms of the doors, and also back in front of the wheelhouses there. It's got 355 gears. It'll definitely do 100. It's a 440, so it doesn't get super great gas mileage. It's got the original type thermoquad. It's pretty much the stock carburetor. I've tuned and rebuilt the carburetor, but I never really changed out the carburetor for anything else. It's stock thermoquad. Kind of has a little bit more grunt when you're getting out of on it in first gear here. Take a look at the hubs here. I'll show you some other features. Okay, so let's see. It's got factory fog lights or dealer installed fog lights. So in your little black strip information panel there, when you turn the fog lights on, it says FL for fog lights. It's got flashing red lights. So when you activate your fire siren, you put these on as well, and it says siren lights. They flash in the grill, flashing red. And they're all activated by these extra switches down here. This switch here is for the camping lights. I believe this one's for rear defrost, but I don't believe that works. And then it's like some sort of, J.C. Whitney rear defrost kit that's original owner put on the back window there. It's got a fire siren, horn, trouble, which used to put it hooked up to the swing, and I had a bunch of trouble with the relay, so I just on its own separate latest. Turn it on, second. It's all mechanical. So that's sirens series, and it'll come fire and activates us. It just relays and mopping on, and your fire keeps clicking. Anything's opposite volunteer horn person or anything I don't ever use. Works. Let's check out. Put it in full. All right, let's out the full drive. Windows work. Vent window up and down fine. We're gonna go and windows roll really well. Their side. All right, so we're lock. I'll go to that lock. All right. So we're in high. Now we'll go to high lock. So see that the right now comes on there. Lock. It gets light telling us where. 4-wheel drive. We're in lock. Alright, I'm going to take it kind of easy because I'm not out on the trail. You're supposed to only run the 4-wheel drive on slippery or loose surfaces. It's the summertime and I'm on the road here, so take my curves a little slower and show you how the 4-wheel drive works. we get back to the parking lot, I'll show you the fog lights, all the exterior lights, and the siren lights too. I've never had the vehicle really off-road other than maybe in a field every now and then, just with some tall grass. I've never taken it on a trail. I've never taken it into the mountains, at least as far as trails are related. I'm sure it does fine, but I just had no interest in doing that. Cruise control works. I actually have an NOS or newer cruise control brain unit that I bought and installed on there. We'll try out the cruise control on this next road here. These older cruise controls don't activate until about 35 miles an hour, so if you're going 20 or 25 you can't use it, and it fluctuates, you know, 5 miles an hour up and down. It's not like a new car where it holds it exactly right at whatever speed you determine. Alright, this is a tight turn. We'll go a little slower around here with the four-wheel drive. Okay, cruise control's on, and there we go. We're at 35. I'm gonna put it on there. And my foot's off the gas, and it's about 33 after it kind of fell down here. So we got a hill coming up, and we'll see how it holds coming up the hill. Yeah, it went up to about 36, 37, still in cruise control. It's letting it off, modulating the throttle for us. And here comes our hill. We'll see where it stays once it starts going up the hill. Again, I'm off the gas down there. Yeah, drops to about 30, and then starts picking it up. It's probably a little bit better on the highway because this is all mechanical system, but it does work. The truck doesn't really run hot. I had the radiator record. I believe it's a 3-core that I had put in there in 2005. So even with the air and the towing, if you were towing a trailer and you were sitting in traffic, it runs in about the middle between C and H. You know, these old big block Chryslers get warm, but it doesn't overheat, is what I'm trying to say. Oil pressures, you know, it's always like 40 all the time, pretty steady. I've never worried about oil pressure on this engine, even when I was towing and whatnot. All right, so we're gonna go here into low range. I'm shifting to neutral. All right, there's two-wheel drive high, essentially. There's neutral. Maybe I gotta put it in park. I'm a little out of touch on the transfer case here. All right, now we're in park. Let's see if it likes that a little bit better. Okay, So now we're in low range 2-wheel drive. Sorry, we're not in low range 2-wheel drive. Alright, now we're in low range 2-wheel drive. Sorry about that. I really don't ever use low range. Alright, so we're in 3rd gear and we're doing about 10 to 15 miles an hour here. 2-wheel drive, low range. It's probably gonna max out at like 40 miles an hour in 2-wheel drive low. Alright, so now we'll go to low range 4-wheel drive. There we go, the indicator comes on again. 2nd gear, 3rd gear. Yep, so the low range does work there. Maybe I'd be better off putting it back in park to go back between. All right. Now we're back in 2-wheel drive, high range. So transfer case, other than the user not knowing to put it in park when you're going between the ranges, works fine. And again, like I said, I don't really use 4-wheel drive all that much. I've had the air on mostly the whole time, had the window open a little bit. It's blowing out about 58 degrees. Sometimes it's colder if you're moving a lot, you know, versus not moving. But yeah, the long and short of it is the AC does work. All right, let's take a look under the hood. All right, there's our 4-way flashers, low beam headlights. And it's got the Edelbrock Performer 440 intake. Pretty much except for those headers, everything's stock under here. It's got the, I believe that's 110 amp alternator. You can see that we get some condensation on the AC line there. 4-ways work out here. Got the 4-ways back there. License plate, it works. At the high beams on the video indicator, the blue one. It's hard to see, yeah, I think, but the indicator works there. A little side mark. There's ours. You have a marker under the hood. Trouble light when you're ready comes on. Your oil, whatever. It's the hood. That your check beams, your whatever. They work. Your high on. Side mark. They come on the right. On. Okay. Try out the parking brake. We'll throw it in reverse. Show you the reverse lights. Brake. First. Brake warning light works. The parking brake and so forth. All right. Looks like the reverse lights aren't on right now. Let's see if maybe just wiggling that. Okay, reverse lights aren't coming on. That's something I'll check into. I'll get that fixed up. I'll get those working. Let's see what else. Fog lights. There's our fog lights. They're super bright. siren lights on. They're on a flasher and a relay, I believe. So if you're responding to a fire call and you got the fire siren going on, you got the siren lights as well. Let's see what else we got. Oh yeah, here's the fire siren in there. I'll throw that on and we'll take a listen to that real quick. So that's pretty much it. That's the tour of the 77 Ramcharger factory 440 big block, russet sunfire metallic. Let me know if you got any questions.